Read the concrete chronicles, my secret origins honest. Every hustle's first appearance, putting paper on the harness. Got a super villain plot twist for the crooked politicians. Me and my crew are heroes on a whole different mission. They see the flashy jewels, that's just a secret identity. My real superpower is surviving this vicinity. Doing the uptown lowdown, know what I mean? Doing the uptown lowdown.
Welcome to Secret Identities Podcast with your host, the tenacious TDubb, and I am your savvy Savage Jody. We are here to bring you news, reviews, discussions, maybe a few laughs about everything in the comics, TV, movie, and media landscape. How you doing today, TDubb?
Doing great. Feeling Spidey-tastic. And I'm feeling the Punisher too. Feeling the pain. Ready to bring the pain.
So we got going on.
How you doing today? Fresh off the brand new day Spider-Man movie. That was the big news from the weekend. It released this past weekend. Did really well at the box office.
Highest earning box office movie ever on the first weekend.
Yeah. At a tone of 360 million.
I think it's higher
domestically.
Than that. I think it's higher than that. Yeah,
it's
international and domestic combined is significantly higher than that. I think it's pushing.
Yeah, domestic was 360 million. International was 572 million. Worldwide was 932 million, and that's from Box Office Mojo. Yeah, so very successful movie. We're going to be talking about it in all the movies that led up to this movie in the past. So this is actually the fourth movie from Tom Holland as Spider-Man. There were 3 Tobey Maguires, there were 2 Andrew Garfields, and there have been 4 of a rumored 6 from Tom Holland. So a lot of Spider-Man movies. You include all the cartoons and the spin-off series over the years. A lot of Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a huge IP, just like Batman and Superman. I mean, the followings for that are pretty amazing. And also the Spider-Verse movies as well have been hugely successful in the last few years, where they're working on the third one now that's to be released next year. To finish out that trilogy, dealing with Miles Morales. So a lot to talk about. And you were able to see the movie too, right?
I was. Yeah, I saw it.
I
saw it Saturday night. So we're gonna do some news. We're gonna talk about Spider-Man and films in general. You and I have put out a list where we're going to rank all of the live-action Spider-Man films best to worst of the 9 Peter Parker-centric Spider-Man films. And then we're going to do spoiler-free review briefly, and then we're going to kick it to the Secret Identity Spoiled podcast, and we're going to do spoiler-filled review over there. This will probably be the last one we release to general audiences, because these are actually supposed to go to Patreons for patrons. We just wanted people to know what we'd be doing behind the paywall. So, good stuff. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
Got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. All the leading up to this movie, there's been a huge gap of no movies gearing up for this Doomsday movie at the end of the year for Avengers. So for all of you people leading into this movie, if you did your homework, you know when we last left Tom Holland and Peter Parker Spider-Man, it was in No Way Home movie. And they brought back the multiverse. They brought back the previous cast of Spider-Mans, Tobey Maguire, who was in the first trilogy in the 2000s, and then Andrew Garfield in the multiverse. So I thought that was kind of cool, incorporating all 3 of the Spider-Mans in one movie. It actually came out really well, and we'll talk about that later on in our personal rankings. for the 9 movies. So what we'll do first is get into the news. The Spider-Man news coming out of Marvel right now, as far as the comics, they are going to be doing the horror-centric Spider-Man. The new series of books that replace the Ultimate Spider-Man comic book and the Ultimate Universe from Marvel Comics. They have the new line of books coming out where it's more focused on a horror telling set of titles called Midnight, and that's slated for October. I looked at some of the preview artwork. It doesn't really fit the bill for what they're trying to do. It looks like the
Spider-Man one is going to be kind of like a body horror thing.
Yeah, but the cartoon looked really cartoon. The artwork looked really cartoony, which kind of threw me off. I'm like, maybe they're hiding the fact of what they're trying to do and get across. Doesn't look like it's going to be that good. So, at San Diego Comic-Con last week, and also this week, they released some news on some Punisher-focused comics, where he's going to be teaming up with Spider-Man, as well as Punisher will be teaming up with Spider-Man. They're also having another crossover where he'll be going against the Predator, and versus Winter Soldier, and a couple of other books. There's a series of one-shot books that start later this fall. So I do think it's kind of cool that they're doing these other Punisher stories, highly off the success of the new Punisher series that started in spring, as well as the Marvel Knights version of the Punisher that they rebooted earlier this year. So good to see a lot of that, especially with the one shot. But we'll get more into that with the Punisher side of things. Hence, that's why I'm wearing the shirt, because I really liked him in this movie. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Another comic book that hit the stands last week, and it's actually pushing over into this week. It sold out the first printing. It's a book from Robert Kirkman called Terminal. It's more or less, yeah. The first issue was a high success. They did the blind bag situation to make it a little bit more exciting, and I think that's really very well done. Robert Kirkman's had some success at Image Comics with the blind bag situation. And for those of you not familiar with it, they polybag these issue ones or these special anniversary issues, and they stuff these polybags with 1 in 25 covers, 1 in 50 covers, foil covers, hologram covers, autograph covers, gold foil, silver foil, and a trend that Robert Kirkman has done. He did it with Invincible Universe's Battle Beast series, as well as the new Terminal book, where they give you the first issue a rare ratio for the covers or the variant covers, but they also give you an advanced copy of issue 2 a month ahead of time. In this case with Terminal, they did the second issue, they did the 7th issue, and they did the 10th issue. Now, a lot of people are like, wow, this artist must be hugely prolific, but what he has working on this, he's been working on this story for about a couple years now. Yeah, he's got different artists working on the books. So the first arc is by Andy Kubert, who actually was a huge X-Men artist in the 90s. He drew the Fatal Attractions, the famous Gambit and Rogue when they're kissing on the cover of issue 36, I believe. I'm sure James will reference check
James
on
will
that.
get you. James
and
will get you
shout out to Hill. Thanks for yeah, he'll get you. He'll get you. He's like, oh, let me check that for you. Yeah, Andy Kubert's drawing the first arc. I believe it's issues 1 through 5, and then world-renowned comic artist Dave Finch, who's fresh off of his successful book with Robert Kirkman called Skinbreaker, is doing, I think, a 3-issue arc. And then you have the world famous Arthur Adams drawing. Art Adams drawing the other issues after that. So that 10th issue that you can get in those blind bags is drawn by Art Adams. So really cool stuff. They're saying that this Terminal book, I won't give away the premise. You can read it online. You can go to your favorite local brick and mortar store and pick them up. They are flying pretty fast. They've already solicited the second printing for the end of August, the same day as the second issue will be coming out. But they're saying that this book, it's a team-centric book, but it's replacing the void of the lack of the X-Men books. So really
to
pretty
me,
cool.
From what I've looked at, it just seems like Gen 13, and I'm not dissing it because I trust in the Kirkman. But it seems like Gen 13 to me, and Gen 13 was just a rip off the X-Men. So it's just a rip off the X-Men, really, as James would say, basically the X-Men. Like he said, basically Thor when he was talking about my character.
Yeah,
he's always basic.
But I don't agree in this case. I think it's a fresh idea. Again, you just got a lot of these people just labeling stuff and saying, "Oh, this is just like this." If you read it, it's got nothing to do with the X-Men. It ain't got mutants in it, and they're not.
But people getting their powers from genetic. That's kind of mutants, dude. I mean, it's kind of mutants. Genetics getting you powers. That's kind of mutants. You know, it's like I'm not trying to be an a-hole.
When you come up with new IPs, you're going to be compared to everything that's out there.
That's what I was going to say. There's no shame in being an imitation if you're going to do something different with it, but it's still basically the X-Men.
Yeah,
you know, it's like Invincible is basically Superman and Superboy. It's significantly different because he did something different with it, and that's why I trust him to not just burp out carbon copies of other people's stuff like some other creators do, Rob Liefeld. But
yeah. So definitely check out Terminal. I'll give it my highest recommendation. Well, no spoilers here, but first issue, I think it ends in a cliffhanger, and if I'm saying this right, it picks up in a cliffhanger. So when you close issue 2 and you close issue 1 and open issue 2, you're going to be very surprised at what's going on. So definitely check that out. A little bit of different storytelling. They don't jump right into the action. Very good storytelling, very good pacing, and you can get absorbed pretty quick into it. It's not something that you got to know a lot of history on. I've been told that it's not part of the Skybound.
I looked it up. It's not a part of the Invincible universe. But what I want to point out is that when I said it's basically that, what I love about what Robert Kirkman does when he makes his superheroes that quote unquote rhyme with something else, he just seems to have so much fun playing in that sandbox. It's like a kid playing with action figures. He's really enjoying it. He leans into like the cheese aspect, but he also has like the personal drama stuff. So it's like it's everything. It's like he's hitting all the notes when the big three usually only hit some of the notes with those characters. Some of the time, he's running the full gamut on those characters. So like I trust him. I trust him, but it's still kind of.
I tell you the biggest respect that I have with him is that this guy, he's not writing 1 or 2 books. I mean, he's also writing Transformers. He's orchestrating the whole Skybound thing with the Invincible books. Battle Beast is a top 10 book, and they're about to end their second arc with the 12th issue. It's a big battle going down between Conquest and Battle Beast. Bloody, a lot of action if you're into that kind of thing and you follow these characters from the Invincible universe. But I like the fact that after he finished the first arc, issues 1 through 6, they took a 2 to 3 month break for the artist to kind of recharge. He did a bunch of conventions. I actually got to meet Mr. Ryan Otley at Baltimore Con a couple years ago. very prolific artist, great person to talk to, inside track on, being able to recharge your batteries as an artist and get a leg up and get ahead by taking a break and getting ahead instead of having fill-in artists and having an excuse for the book to change and bore your audiences. They're coming with that same anticipation and intensity with the quality of these books, the selling points, the marketing, the advertising, and the timeliness of the schedule of these books.
Right.
They come out on the same Wednesday every month. I watch that. I still put release dates of comics in my phone, even though I can't make it to the comic shop every week. But it's great to see that this book isn't running late, or this book is 6 months late, or
Right.
you anticipate the finishing of the story arc and they've changed artists on you. They got somebody that draws like your favorite artist, but it ain't them. So love all of that.
He seems to have gotten the trains running on time with Image, because Image was obviously having trouble with that, and it seems like whatever kind of energy he brought to the conversation there, he seems to have gotten it acting right again. And I think that he's going to be on the Mount Rushmore comics. I think he's young, but I really think that he's going to, if the medium doesn't die completely, he's going to be in conversations with Julie Schwartz and Jim Shooter, and those guys are going to be contemporary or I guess colleagues of his in the discussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely can see that. Like I said, universe that started. It's called Capes. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
That is in the Invincible universe. Yes.
Yeah, it was running as a backup story in Invincible for a while, and he's Kirkman is our age. He's born the same year as me. So for you guys that know my secret identity and understand our age groups, he came up during the Image craze. He was in high school when it was going on. I've heard him speak on it many of times. So he's a huge fan of that era of comics. So he understands what's been done, what didn't work out, and what will work out. I think exploring the Image brand and then being open to more independent books and making sure these books are on time and completed before they solicit it. Image has had a lot of speculative hits and a lot of dead on hits in these last. The list goes on and on. They're not responsible in the market for just 3 books or 2 books here and there. And I'm not even mentioning the founding fathers. Robert Kirkman wasn't there at the beginning. So that goes to show you, like you said, he's ushering in this new daily culture or monthly culture, as you want to call it, and making it, he's drawing in a lot of these independent books and they're a success. So really like what's going on there, and we'll be talking in coming episodes about some of those books. If you guys are reading any of the Image independent books or stuff by Robert Kirkman, what are your favorite ones that he's doing? He's doing Transformers, Void Rivals, a lot of different books right now, and he's going to be doing the G.I. Joe Transformers cartoon that's going to be coming out, I believe, next year. So they're working on that right now. So good to see all that going on, that kind of stuff. Like I said, I think everybody was exhausted. Everybody's kind of laying low. San Diego Comic-Con, I mean, they had so much news last week that it was almost uncoverable because it was stuff popping up before the con, after the con, and kind of spread into this week, but died down a little bit. They've got a few more conventions left this summer, a big Disney D23 Expo that's going to be coming up the second week of this month. So even more news and casting news coming out. But kind of segueing out of the comic book news and into the entertainment comic book movies and animation, they released the first fight clip between Bane and Batman for the DC Batman Nightfall DVD Blu-ray stream that'll be coming out at the end of August. A lot of people talking about that. It is rated R, so a lot of people are clamoring towards that to kind of see a more serious side of Batman in this storyline that took over the 90s for the Batman comic book, kind of seeing how it's going to be portrayed. With the past differences of their adaptations to animation, they always take the liberties of making changes, and not always for the good, because they end up suffering trying to
mostly not
squeeze so much continuity in it, or just going off the rails. And yeah, not for the good. Yeah, there was some pretty bad ones that they squoze out of there, and but very much looking forward to that. I heard some news. They got a Stewie spinoff of Family Guy coming. They have a Simpsons, the movie 2 coming out as well next year. So big fans of both of those shows, just trying to see what direction they're going to be going with those. So looking forward to that. You got the big re-release of the Transformers 1986 animated movie coming in September. So it's going to be re-released in 4K in the theaters, and it's supposed to have a special after credits scene that was animated just for this movie. I've already seen it, not giving it away. Got to go to the movie to check it out, but it's going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to that one because that was a big part of my childhood. I think 1986 movie was so ahead of their time with the Japanese animation. Just seeing that movie and all the characters and villains, the heroes and villains, the Decepticons and the Autobots, it was just an awesome story. And I would have loved to see not the whole movie, but parts of the movie adapted into the live action movies. But they tried here and there, but no avail, no cigar, nothing to write home about worth mentioning. But I probably would sneak off and check out the re-release of that, as opposed to the re-release that Jody wants to see in game. But I'm gonna stick to Transformers.
Why are you gonna poke the bear? I'm trying to be positive here, man.
Poke the monkey.
Yeah, don't poke the monkey.
Yeah, that's it. Don't poke the monkey. You get driven over by a Porsche.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. So going into talking about the Spider-Man Brand New Day, the new movie that's upon us, the Juggernaut. We'll get to that about characters, because there's a excerpt from an article that I read online a couple days ago that I told you about earlier this afternoon, and about characters that we haven't seen, and I just said it when I was talking about this Juggernaut of it. I want to see Juggernaut and Spider-Man on the big screen. That's what I want to see. I don't care if you got a CGI Juggernaut, but to see him go against Spider-Man, those were some great battles, man. I wanted to see.
Problem is, now that Deadpool is in continuity with the MCU, then your Juggernaut is that abomination of a Juggernaut they had in Deadpool 2.
Actually, I didn't mind that Juggernaut. I liked him better than the abomination that was in X-Men 3 Last Stand.
I mean, most of the things were in. I like the actor. I just think it was a poor characterization. It was a poor characterization.
Yeah, we ran into the wall when Kitty Pryde Shadowcat ran through the wall, and then he hit himself and knocked himself out on the wall. I was like, what? Nothing stopped the Juggernaut except for that wall that he didn't see.
I thought that Juggernaut was played for laughs. I think they got his proportions right, but I think that him having that ridiculous diving bell of a helmet on didn't do justice to the helmets he had in the comics.
Yeah.
It also didn't make sense why he would have that on while he was in jail. Like, I mean, it's just like,
when he get out? No. Which way is the exit? The Juggernaut must know. I think it's that way, but you're not going to get through there with that helmet on.
It's like putting Blade in prison, and you're like, you keep your swords.
Yeah, you keep your swords and shurikens.
It's okay. Just keep your swords with you. It's okay. You know, we're not that kind of prison. What the hell? Anyway,
Magneto, you don't need this collar.
I just remembered.
Keep you from using your magnetism powers.
I just remembered. I have something that I wanted to share.
Under normal circumstances, I'd say I told you so. But as I have told you so with such
big old
vehemence and frequency already, the phrase has lost all meaning.
Right there.
Therefore, I will be replacing it with the phrase, I informed you thusly.
Oh.
Ooh, can't wait for that to start.
Supergirl's streaming redemption has begun in a massive way after 186 million bombing. Supergirl's streaming redemption has begun in a massive way after. This is from Screen Rant. But in addition to that, now I do not agree with everything.
Insanity later.
I do not agree with everything in this listicle or thing. Okay, but I wanted to read it because this is the turning of the tides. This is the same hipster neckbeards that were tearing this movie down, ironically, are now boosting the movie up now that it's been torched, ironically, right? This reads, to be clear, there's plenty to criticize in Supergirl, but I would argue it's a decent movie, better than the surplus of mediocrity that has given passes and top marks into 2010s and even the 2020s. What on earth are you doing, sir?
If I was hanging upside down by my webbing and I watched Supergirl again, I still would not like it if I was watching it upside down. Statement made.
With their grid-like, patched-together scripts and visuals, superhero fatigue is real, and the industry or audience that once indulged 3 out of the last 4 Thor movies is ready to see more capes fall to Earth. The green sun schadenfreude is shining bright. Maybe the future of blockbusters, that's a good thing, but Supergirl has more heart than most of its contemporaries, not to mention what Kryptonite siblings and arrows would suggest. So my point is, I told you this was going to happen. I told you this was going to happen because this is what happens in the media. You are crazy hyperbolic with your hate about the movie. I am not saying it was a perfect movie.
There's no hate. There's no hate at all. I don't hate the movie. I can't stand it. It just we need to take everybody that was involved in that Supergirl movie and take them to see the Spiderman movie that we just saw. And that's how you put together a movie. I don't know. Maybe there's whoever the director's name. Maybe there's a Snyder-like
you
cut
need to take everybody who's making Marvel movies to the theater to watch the Spider-Man movie you just saw. For that matter. So,
actually, I'll make everyone out there and you feel better that there's probably 2 or 3 Marvel movies out of the 30 some odd movies that I could pick that Supergirl was better than, but it ain't many. It ain't many at all.
But Telly, you haven't even seen most of the worst movies in the last phase, so how could you say that? Yeah, you haven't seen most of the worst movies in the last phase, man. You haven't seen Marvels. You haven't seen the really bad stuff. I mean, are you saying that Quantumania was better than Supergirl? No, there's no way you could with a straight face.
Yes, by far.
What you are smoking crack. You are literally
Quantumania was 10 times better than Supergirl.
Incorrect.
Supergirl was narrating her own part in the movie. Didn't know who she was.
Is the wrong opinion.
The movie's bad, Jody.
It is not. It is. I would argue that Supergirl. Look, we're not here to talk about Supergirl. We're here to talk Spider-Man. The whole point was, I told you so. I told you it was going to happen. I qualified it. It's not me arguing about the movie being better. It's me about the hyperbolic BS hate that movie got. Had nothing to do with that movie. Had to do with everything but that movie.
But they could have deleted all of that hate and never seen any of those posts. Still went to see that movie and still come out with the same outcome. That
Millie Alcock's Supergirl was 5 times better than the Flash movie.
Well, yeah, because the Flash movie sucked. That movie sucked too.
Quantumania sucked, Telly.
No,
Quantumania
was good. It had action, it had writing, it had pacing.
It had bobblehead MODOK. It had MODOK that looked like it didn't have a good villain. It was a stupid propped up excuse for girl power MCU, where instead of it being an Ant-Man movie, it became a Wasp and Ant-Man's daughter movie for no apparent reason. So it went from being about Ant-Man to Michelle Pfeiffer being a badass to Evangeline Lilly being a badass.
Michelle Pfeiffer is a badass.
Show me, don't tell me. Show me, don't tell me. That's one of the rules of writing. And all Marvel does is tell me. Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer, total badass. You're going to love her in this. Total badass. Evangeline Lilly, total badass. Right? No, she's not.
What about that? The Supergirl movie was, I'll get to you, it was better than that awful Harlequin movie with the 16-word subtitle. That was awful.
That was an absolute abomination of a movie. Yes, you're right. Look, yes. I didn't want to sidetrack the podcast with another argument about Supergirl.
We're not.
I just wanted to put the I told you so up there because I told you this was going to happen. Because that's how fickle media is.
Same thing with He-Man. Masters of the Universe bombed at the box office, but it's #1 stream movie out there right now.
And I gave He-Man good marks because it was a pretty good film.
Well,
He-Man was a better film. He-Man was a better film than Supergirl, but Supergirl was not a terrible film. It was not as bad as you're making out.
I couldn't even bring myself to click the OK to watch it. That's what I was shouting out when you were giving your explanation about how it's reinvigorated itself on streaming. James, watch the Supergirl movie on HBO Max leave in the comments what you thought. Break it down for us.
I did not.
We need a third person.
I did not give an explanation of what that movie did. I read someone else's opinion on it. And my point wasn't that they were right. My point was everyone that ironically hated it is now going to heel turn and defend it because they want to seem like the smart guy in the room. Like, everyone else really overlooked this movie, but it was really an excellent movie. There's a lot going on in that movie. I would say that Supergirl functions more as a whole film, beginning, middle, and end, than most superhero films. And I think that's what alerted a lot of people that went to see it, because a lot of people aren't trained to look at superhero movies as whole movies. And that's consistently what DC does. They make whole movies. For better or for worse, Wonder Woman was a whole movie, beginning, middle, and end. It wasn't an advertisement for 5 other movies. Wonder Woman 1984 was a whole terrible-ass movie. It was a bad movie. I am not defending DC and saying they can't do any wrong. I'm just saying that they're not doing what Marvel's doing, but most superhero movies have been Marvel movies, so everybody goes to them, and they're just like, they don't know what to look at. They don't like, oh, well, what do we judge this as? And I think it's a weird situation that DC's in, because if they match the conventions of the Marvel movie, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? So So you're basically acknowledging that they're better than you if you do what they do. But if you don't do what they do at this point, you get criticized for not being them. So it's a weird situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as bad as everybody's made. But again, we wasted 5-10 minutes now on a discussion I wasn't trying to have. I was just posting that the prophecy has been fulfilled.
It's not until it's stricken from ever being existed. The movie shouldn't have happened. James Gunn was riding high off the success of that Superman movie. It's almost like they tried to sabotage his direction with having this movie take place. You didn't need a Supergirl movie after that great Superman movie. You didn't. They could have did this Supergirl movie 2 or 3 years down the line after you did a Green Lantern.
That movie wasn't made for you, Telly. It wasn't made for you. And maybe that's what you're picking up on. It wasn't made for you.
It wasn't for me.
I've
seen a lot of movies.
It wasn't a Supergirl movie that's made for middle-aged men. It's a Supergirl movie that's made for an entirely different generation than you. And it's okay. Because that generation needs to buy movie tickets too. That generation needs to buy comics too. We're wasting too much time. We don't need to have this conversation again, but it's okay that you don't like it. But your irrational hate for it is just, you're like, I don't hate it. I can't stand it. Like, what?
That's right. I can't stand it. It shouldn't be involved in the superhero movie conversation, because that's not what it was.
I totally.
It was a vehicle.
I have seen.
It was almost a distraction.
I've seen many superhero movies and projects that were far worse than Supergirl. Sylvester Stallone was in that one that went direct to streaming. That was not a good movie. That wasn't even a good movie by Stallone standards. Remember, if you want to contact us, you can reach us by email. secretidentitiesmedia@gmail.com. contact@secret-identities.com. Or on any of our socials, secret_identities_media on Instagram, sec_ident_media on X Twitter, secret_identities_pod on TikTok, or just search Secret Identities on Facebook. You can find links for these in the show notes wherever you found us, on the title card at the end of the show, or just scan the QR code on your screen for our link tree. Either way, let's move on. Spider-Man stuff.
Spider-Man stuff. Leading up to this movie, we've had 8 previous live-action Spider-Man movies, and out the gate, the Tobey Maguire movies that started in 2000.
2004 was the first.
Spider-Man 1, I believe. Was it 99?
It's 2004. No, 02. 02. It was 02. Yes, it was. It was supposed to come out.
No, it was before that, because because in one of the movie posters they put the Twin Towers in his eyes, so it was after 9/11. I remember that.
Yeah. What year do you think 9/11 happened in?
2001.
And I said 2002, right? So 2002 comes after 2001?
No, but I thought that was the sequel.
They actually
Part 2 came out in 03, right?
They had scenes with the Twin Towers in the movie. It was supposed to come out circa just after September 11th, but they sent the movie back into production to have all that taken out. Spider-Man movie was in 2002, according to IMDb.
Okay.
Because they wanted to be sensitive to New York after 9/11. So yes, 2002 was the first movie. Go on.
Yep, I remember that. I mean, Sam Raimi was the director. we didn't know, except for that Spider-Man live action TV show, that either existed or it didn't exist, but there's footage of it all over the internet. So I'm not sure if that was a show or was that a movie.
It was a show. It was a show that was made in Japan.
But
it was a show. It was somewhat like Power Rangers, actually.
Oh,
it was a show that was made in Japan, and it was about Spider-Man. But if I'm not mistaken, Spider-Man actually had like a robot mech in it, and he had a fancy car in it. So it was very Power Rangers-esque. But Stan Lee was so impressed with it.
Yeah, I think I remember
that he bought the rights. I mean, he had them bring the Spider-Man in costume stuff over and like stitch together into this totally weird show. But he was so impressed with the storytelling of their version of Spider-Man. I think at one point he wanted to incorporate that into the Spider-Man character. He wanted to have all this weird stuff with Spider-Man. In fact, I think one of the Spider-Verse characters is that version of Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember reading something about that. Yeah, because before we got that Spider-Man movie, the only thing Spider-Man we had was the 1994 cartoon, which was phenomenal. I think it was some of the best Spider-Man storytelling that was out at the time, leading up to the first movie with Tobey Maguire in it. You had the Venom saga. They did the Carnage thing, the Green Goblin. I mean, they handled all of those villains so well that, I mean, I've shown my kids that cartoon because it's the clearest origins and tellings that you'll find, and they did such a great job of storytelling on that cartoon. But getting into the first Spider-Man Tobey Maguire movie, I was really impressed with it when it coming out at the time. The liberties they took to the changes in the costume with the webbing looking so 3D and wired. The character casting that they did, Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane,
as the president.
Willem Dafoe. Yeah. Willem Dafoe is Green Goblin, and James Franco as Harry Osborn. I really like that in the trilogy, how that story and the progression of Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, and then him meeting his fate, and then Harry taking over the mantle because he wanted revenge on Spider-Man, and then his demise in the third Spider-Man. I liked how that story became full circle, and they hinted at the little love triangle between Mary Jane, Peter, and Harry. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that trilogy, except for the third one with Topher Grace as Venom, I thought that whole trilogy was really well done, especially that second one. That one sets out for me because before Avengers 1 came out later on in 2008, Spider-Man 2 was considered for a while in a lot of people's lists as the number one live action superhero movie. It had a nice reign there for a while. And it's all due to the acting and the writing of that second Spider-Man movie with, is it Oliver Platt as
Alfred Molina.
Dr. Otto Octavius?
Alfred Molina.
Oh, Alfred Molina. I don't know why I was... Yeah, Alfred Molina. Oliver Platt's a totally different actor. But Alfred Molina did a fantastic job in that movie from beginning to end. He befriended Peter. He was a mentor to Peter. He was a villain. He just became full circle and it just he played that so well. So I was hugely impressed that after they gave that character a beginning, middle, and an end, for them to resurrect him and him to come back later on in the last Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, and him just to pick up. I don't think there's many actors that have done that and been able to resurrect their role like that, or have been given a chance. But do you see where I'm getting at?
I'm totally with you.
We're going to find some agreements here,
Alfred
Jody.
Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina as did, like, I don't agree with you on the casting of the trilogies, but I think Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe are standouts. I think there's some problems with the characterization of Goblin in the first movie, so that kind of takes it off its pedestal for me. And I also think that I don't want to take anything away from Willem Dafoe because I really like Willem Dafoe, but Willem Dafoe is kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of like the migrant worker of actors. He will act in anything. So like he's all over the place. He's in crappy, Skinamax movies in the middle of the night. He's in good movies. He's in bad movies. He's always doing a good job, but like he's kind of more mercenary with his work. But Alfred Molina was a serious actor when that guy took this role. So I kind of feel like he led some credibility to it. And not only did he do an amazing job as Dr. Octopus, I kind of feel like he made Dr. Octopus cooler than Dr. Octopus ever was in the comic books. When you saw Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus, it was the first time Dr. Octopus was badass, not just a villain. You were like, oh, wow, I can see how this is scary. This guy's, wow. Him in that trench coat instead of that being a butterball with some mechanical arms. James probably curses me because he loves the classic. I love the classic fat guy with the arms. But I just kind of feel like there's a cool
he
factor.
Still was pudgy.
Oh, I understand. But there's a huge difference between a fat guy in a green and yellow unitard and a guy in a trench coat. Yeah, I understand he's still a heavy dude, but the Dr. Octopus look from the comics was far less menacing than what Alfred Molina had for the movie. And he did such a good job of bringing menace to that character. You real menace to that character. So, like, I feel like, in retrospect, he made Dr. Octopus better. Dr. Octopus had his place in Spider-Man history because of his brains and because his Technicolor villainy, but I think that in perpetuity, after Alfred Molina, everybody still has that vision of him as a badass in their mind. They're like, okay, I want to see what's happening.
Well, he brought it together. I mean, that guy. I mean, he's a lot older than the other actors and actresses in that movie, and he still hung his own. That I the whole time you're talking about him, giving him praise, I'm thinking about the scenes in that movie, and I just thought it was very fast paced. It had its drama, but when it was in action, it was in action. I can remember him scaling up the building, and those tentacles are chunking into the building, and he grabs Aunt May, and she's screaming the whole time, and he's got her wrapped, and Spider-Man's trying to, catch her and shoot at him. I mean, that was just, I watched that movie recently, and I was just amazed at how, like, that movie made your jaw drop, like, when things were going on. It was just fantastic at everything that was going on. Even when he went after MJ, and he's smacking Spider-Man around with those tentacles, it was horrific. I mean, Spider-Man really was like, and his spider sense was going off. It was going crazy because this dude was like menacing, like you said, but he also had his intellectual side too. And I think the whole attraction with Willem Dafoe is that he was comedic, and his facial expressions fits so well. Yeah, the whole thing about, I remember my younger brother Nick looking at that movie and just like this guy is crazy. He's talking to himself in the mirror, and I remember he would flinch like, what's this guy doing? And like, just I mean he, and then the other side of it, when he's at the table with his son Harry, and when he thought she was dating MJ, and Aunt May's there, and she's like, "You watch your mouth, Norman," and he's like, "How dare you smack my hand," or something like that. And then he sees the scar on Peter's hand, and he goes, "Where did you say you got that scar?" And he's figuring out, this guy's Spider-Man, and I just, those facial expressions, the way he's going around, and I just like, what did you say? What do you mean? And it's just like, that guy's just like
Power Rangers Rita Repulsa Power Rangers mask. It was a lot of people weren't a fan with it.
Yeah.
I think that
if they would have made him a real goblin,
I mean,
like in the comic
books, of all the people, William Dafoe can pull off a goblin face. So like, I don't think the mask was really necessary. And I think
they did that robotic Power Ranger type thing, right, where you could see the mouth moving inside the helmet. Yeah, that was a little too cheese for me. But
right. So
it's crazy because Sam Raimi's a horror director. So, but I think with them trying to market
the technology just wasn't there. So I mean, I think that I would say the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies were the first time anybody was able really to make a costume superhero cool. Now I'm dismissing Christopher Reeves because I kind of feel like in the Superman movies they were kind of almost self-referential. Like they were acknowledging themselves as from another era. You watch that and it was like, let's make a comic strip come to life, but there was kind of an acknowledgement of that this isn't the real world. So, but this is the first time, the Sam Raimi movies were the first time that like you saw the superhero costume and you're like, wow, look at that costume. That's just like, that's what it looked like if it came off the page. Yeah. It's the first time a character had like a whole person. You had the sexy stuff with MJ and the kiss and, real romance, not like the, romantic pantomime that Clark went through with Lois in the original Superman movie. So I kind of feel Raimi did a lot of good, but at the same time, kind of goyered some things, and he just he didn't trust the source material, right? He didn't trust it. He's like, okay, well, we have goblins and have a helmet with like a Power Ranger, and it's going to take up too much time to explain Peter making his own web, so he has internal webs, so now we're in universe acknowledging these weird things about those movies now in the later spoilers in the later Tom Holland movies, but those things existed because they didn't trust the source material. They're like, okay, how do we make this cooler? So, but it's such a weird choice because
I thought the movie's real well done.
It's so much. There's so much of the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans that are literally a caricature of the comic books. So there's almost a dualism going on there where you have this ridiculous depiction of Aunt May. She's like straight out of Golden Girls, elderly aunt with ridiculous point, just like going to get her perm, and like she just looks like she stole it right from the comic book. You have the over the top J. Jonah Jameson, played brilliantly by J.K. Simmons. No one should ever have that role but him. Did you see the baseball thing a couple of weeks back where J.K. Simmons was at a baseball game, and he turns around and Spider-Man's behind him. He's like,
yeah.
It's so weird that Raimi unflinchingly added these very comic book elements to that movie, but at the same time he pulled up from the nosedive on other things. It's like maybe it was studio involvement. Maybe he didn't want to do that. So maybe that'll explain it. But those little things are the ones that edged it out.
I think those were
good.
I thought they were really well done. With the exception of how they tied up the James Franco, Harry Osborn character part of the story in the third one.
I honestly feel like the whole thing about him turning dark.
That and then the Sandman were the exceptions in that third one.
I mean,
the Venom thing was totally
great.
Terrible.
The casting was great. The look was great. I don't know that the use was very good for Sandman. But yeah, Topher.
I thought it was decent. I mean, it almost it's like a mirror of Mr. Freeze from Batman, but except with his daughter, it was his wife. I mean, his wife with Mr. Freeze, but if you the daughter. But I thought it had the emotion that movie needed with him. I just the soft spokenness, and then that guy too, reprising his role in the No Way Home. Mm-hmm. I mean, Alfred Molina just straight. It was like he just filmed that second movie, because as soon as you saw him, and he goes, "You're not Peter," and he's like, "Who are you?" And he's just like, "Yeah, right." Like he just did Spider-Man 2 yesterday, and he's like, in this new movie, you haven't seen him in 15 years, and he just continued on. But yeah, he was really well done. Those movies tied up really well. A lot of people say, "Oh, they didn't have the Punisher in those movies." He actually was in Spider-Man 2. He was at the wedding, but it was a deleted scene that they cut out.
Is that right?
Tom Jane's Punisher.
So you were saying Thomas Jane as Punisher. Now, is he just at the wedding, or was he really supposed to be Punisher? Was that?
No, he's dressed in all black. He's in it. You can look up the clip on YouTube.
I had never heard this before. That's fascinating. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what he was supposed to be doing there, but they never explained it. They just was like he was there.
Is Punisher one of the characters that's owned by Sony?
They were, yeah. At the time they were. Remember, there were no Punisher things. Yeah, he was part of the deal that they didn't have rights to.
Oh, because his first appearance was in Spider-Man. He would be a part of the deal, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought you knew that.
I have never heard this before. So
just with the Tobey Maguire the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, I just thought it was really cool. So what did you not like about the Maguire movies?
Well, I mean, as we already discussed, I think that the Green Goblin design was, I mean, it's objectively bad by modern standards, but I don't think it was I don't think it was very good by the standards at the time either. I think maybe the concern was making the movie too scary. There's a huge fast forward in the movie. They cast a whole bunch of absolutely inarguable adults to play a bunch of kids in the movie. You know, it's a very technicolor version of the comic book where it was like I said, it's like almost at times it's like everything's so characteristic. It's almost like a wink, like, yep, see, look how much we're like the comic book. Look at old Aunt May. You know, so that, like, I don't think they're bad. I give the first Spider-Man credit for what it was, because it really pioneered, but it's far from perfect, even by the standards of the time. But I think it checked a lot of boxes in the first way a superhero movie ever had. You know, superhero movies used to be the movies that guys would go see together, or they'd rent to watch by themselves, not get their girlfriends to go see it. But the Upside Down Kiss got the Kiss of the Year award at the MTV Movie Awards that year. So I think it was the first time that a superhero movie really penetrated the zeitgeist. I think that, I mean, of course, there's a whole hysteria around the Superman stuff too, but Superman, I think, was different because I don't want to go too in the weeds, but like, did you know that the Superman movie was written by the same guy who wrote The Godfather?
Yeah, I did know that.
And in his original version was like 1,000 pages. It was chocked full of like Carol Burnett-esque cameos, like the people that used to pop out of the windows in the whole Batman 66 show. Like, at one point in the movie, Batman is running down the street looking for Lex Luthor. He catches up with him. He grabs his shoulder. He turns him around. It's Telly Savalas, and he says, "Who loves you, baby?" You know, it's like, so the movie was just chocked full of these ridiculous moments. So it was. I
think like, I heard that somewhere.
It was very, it was just very in on the joke with Superman. So the movie we ended up getting is actually Mario Puzo is still credited as the writer, but they had a guy named Mankiewicz come in and do the screenwriting script doctor for it, which is the same guy who did the script doctor for Citizen Kane. So he's like responsible for some like the best movies in the business. So like you got something with a semblance of seriousness because the script doctor came in and cleaned up the absolute mess that Mario Puzo made. But everyone involved was completely on board with the ridiculous thing that Superman was supposed to be. So you got what you got because it pulled up from a nosedive. I kind of feel like this is kind of a different story because it was very earnest with what it was doing, and he was like, in a Tim Burton kind of way, he was trying to make this Technicolor world for Spider-Man that looked like the comic books. But in a lot of ways, he still just didn't trust that would work. So you got what you got. The first one, Tobey Maguire's the wrong choice for Spider-Man. You know, he never was a good choice. He's gawky. He's too old. They skipped through Peter's youth straight to, you know, like Kirsten Dunst looks more like a face hugger from the Alien movies than she does the beautiful model that MJ is supposed to be. I'm not saying she's completely unattractive, but you know, if you go back to the first appearance of Mary Jane in the comic books, she was drawn to be a stunner. She was supposed to be the guy that was the girl that was out of Peter Parker's league. Peter Parker is not especially smart in most Spider-Man movies, and that's not a crazy exception except for the relationship he has with Otto Octavius in the second movie. Don't even get me started on the third one. The Saturday Night Fever dance, how they truncated the Venom saga into just him having a bad attitude, becoming emo, and then getting rid of the symbiote. You know, Topher Grace as Eddie Brock is like one of the worst character castings ever. Bryce Dallas Howard being brought in as Gwen Stacy and this weird out of continuity thing. Like they're a mess. Like by Spider-Man 3 had Schumacher syndrome where, oh well, this is the third movie, we've got to add more stuff. So like they got the casting right, but I don't think they got the use right. I think the guy they had played for Sandman, I hear what you're saying, but I think if you go back and you watch that movie over again, they did a whole lot of telling you about his emotional beats, not showing you his emotional beats. Because Sandman was in that movie, but he was barely a part of it.
Yeah, they overshadowed Venom. My problem with the Tobey Maguire trilogy is that they, like you touched on, they rushed him through basically his childhood or being Spider-Man.
Yeah, but when you cast somebody who's 33 years old to play a 15-year-old kid, you have to rush them through.
Yeah,
So, like,
well, yeah, but I mean, they went way too fast. You had kids in there that couldn't relate to what he was talking about. He was stressing over finding a job, keeping a girlfriend, paying rent, the landlord calling him every 2 seconds. It's like, dude, what? Like, kids were like, I don't even know what he does or what. I understand Spider-Man. I don't understand this Peter Parker guy that he's playing. And I just feel like they pushed it too fast for those iconic heroes like Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. You have to recast them and retell them probably every 10 years. And the kids that are that age during that time are going to grow up with that character. Those kids now that are young, when they look back at those Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, they're not going to understand it because it was told in a different time. Right. Those movies are almost 30 years old now.
And it's almost like opera. I kind of feel like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was almost like the musical version of Spider-Man. Now, it's a great time to transition, though, since we're talking about my problems with the character, because I feel like the best Spider-Man live action was Andrew Garfield. Because, now, not the best Peter Parker, because as we discussed before, or it might have been cut out because the Sony scene that they wanted removed from a recent podcast.
Yeah, I thought Garfield played a great Spider-Man in the costume. I don't, because of all his, one-liners and quirkiness, and that scene comes to mind where he's fighting against the bank robber and he says, "Oh, you bought a knife?" and he's shooting him up with the webs.
That's my weakness, small knives.
Yeah. When you're in the room watching that and you hear the TV and him talking as Spider-Man, you're thinking, "Oh, I'm missing something. That's Spider-Man." Tobey Maguire tried it. I thought he played a better Peter Parker.
I kind of feel like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was just goofy Peter Parker in a suit. He didn't play the character different. He didn't even play the character that different when he was trying to convince other people he was not himself. I feel like Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker was probably a little more moody and romantic than you want for your Peter Parker, but at the same time, he's the only one that's really nailed the wisecracking Spider-Man.
I think Holland's cool as Peter.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man was he's got a youthful exuberance to him. He's fascinated. He's got a lot of fun to the character. Want autographs from Avengers or apologizing to Captain America when he's fighting him, stuff like that.
Mr. Stark. Yeah, Mr. Stark.
But he never has the attitude where he's messing with it. Spider-Man would like torment the people he was fighting when he was fighting them. He'd be talking smack about him. He's throwing heat at him while he's fighting them. And the only time you saw that,
when you say that just now, it made me think of all the stuff that Andrew Garfield said when he was in the suit, when he was fighting the bad guys or fighting his characters. He's talking himself through what he's going to do. Oh, you're going to throw that at me? Oh, let me get you with this. Let me do this. Let me do that. I bet you didn't think I could do that. And this is how you got caught. That's him.
Exactly.
Tobey Maguire was like a librarian
Right.
When he's just like, oh yeah, well, I got to get back to Aunt May because MJ won't talk to me, and just like, dude, you were depressing. Like, you need to. He just like.
I explained that in the other podcast. Mark Webb got brought on because he'd just done a chick flick, and Sony was trying to capture the Twilight audience with that. They were trying to get people to ship Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker, and then they were going to introduce Mary Jane, so it would be the Jacob and Edward thing from Twilight, except it would be with Super Spider-Man and his two girlfriends.
Oh yeah, I mean Peter had the big hair. He was too cool to be. He was not nerdy enough.
After all the smack that I just talked about the characterizations in the Tobey Maguire movies, I am going to have to pivot and say one of the worst characterizations in any Spider-Man movie was Jamie Foxx's Electro. He stunk up the place. He went to the Jada Pinkett Smith Fish Mooney School of Acting to do that role. It was so ridiculous. And it, not only was it so ridiculous and over the top, it was like he's in a different movie. He was in Batman 66 while everybody else was in a different movie. Now, I'm going to say that I liked Andrew Garfield. I really liked Emma Stone. But all of the Andrew Garfield movies had villain problems. Lizard was boring. I feel like they were painted in a corner because the Raimi films had just kind of used all the good villains. And then Electro, Jamie Foxx, I saw an interview with Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx really thought he had done something profound with Electro in that film. But like the comb over and like the farting and like the tucked in shit, he looked like he was playing Urkel.
Yeah, and
he was Urkel with a comb over. But I mean,
when they got second chance redemptions at these characters, not that that Alfred Molina and and Willem Dafoe needed to do that because, like I said, they effortlessly and flawlessly 15 years later brought those characters back in No Way Home. But Jamie Foxx, when he goes, "Oh, I would have thought you would have been black, a black Spider-Man." I'm like, what? Why'd they give him that line? If you think of all his lines in No Way Home, it was a continuation of the over-the-top cringiness that was in the other one.
To be fair, Spider-Man is from Queens. He should be at least Puerto Rican, right? Like he's the white kid in Queens. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, King of Queens, you had Doug. I mean, Doug Heffernan. So, another favorite show of mine, King of Queens.
Is that in continuity? Is that Peter?
No, it's not. No, but what's the name? The girl,
Leah
from
Remini.
King of Queens. Yeah, she could be my Mary Jane. But anyway, the Jamie Foxx Electro, no. And I'm just trying to think. They were cooking up trying to do the Sinister Six movie during that supposed trilogy that they wanted. And
that's why you had Paul Giamatti as the Rhino at the end of that second movie.
Yeah, Mechanical Rhino. That you put a quarter in.
I mean, it's no worse than Eel Bite Electro. I mean, now I can say.
What'd you think? What'd you think of the Green Goblin in that one? Okay. You're talking about. I blocked it from my memory, dude. Terrible. Peter. I'm going to get you. My face is burned, Peter. I'm going to get you. I'm like, what is that?
He looked like...
that was the kid. He was the kid that was in Chronicle.
Yeah. I think his name was Dane something. I
don't know what his name was, but he was totally forgettable. He was like, he said, I brought you over to my house to see if I could have some of your blood, Peter, so I could save myself. I was like, this dude, he was terrible, man.
His name is Dane DeHaan.
No, sir.
Yeah,
No ticket, buddy.
Absolutely awful. Yes. He was. I mean,
It was laughable.
But all the villains in it. I mean, like I said, all of the villains in the Garfield Spider-Man movies were terrible.
But what was it that made you like the movie, though? Why were those two movies cool?
Because
I don't know.
I think it's the first. I remember when I watched these movies, I look for the good thing, and it's the only time, not just the only time to that point. It's the only time Spider-Man was Spider-Man. You know,
the other thing that I gravitated to was that the way him and Emma Stone, because they were a couple too, the chemistry that they had, I liked their relationship better than all of the relationship stuff in the Maguire trilogy.
Of course.
It just him and Emma Stone were just like, boom. They weren't. I mean, from the moment she met him, she didn't like gravitate towards him. She was just like, oh yeah, I work here at Oscorp, and I'm giving the tour. And then she met up with him in the hallway, and then he's kind of bumbling around what he should say, and she's just like, no, I like you, like, and then you just like, because let me tell you about the characterization of them two. And I know they sped it up at the end. When he lost her, you felt that. You felt that 15 years later when he said, I lost my MJ. And dude, that right there, and then him getting to save Mary J with the same exact stunt, but doing it right that time, that was awesome. And it just, when we all lost a girl that we wish we could have kept or stayed with, or something for that matter, something that maybe not as extreme as how he lost her, but you felt that when he kept going to her grave and the seasons were changing, it was raining, then it was snowing, and then it was summertime, and then he's still going every week or every day, and people are talking to him, he's not paying attention, and then he keeps having flashbacks of her father warning him, and just like, dude, you felt that because of their chemistry. What I'm getting at is that it happened so quickly that it almost felt real on camera when he was taken from her. So before you say the next thing, imagine if there was a third movie in Garfield's trilogy. What would that have looked like in him getting over Gwen and moving towards MJ? That's something that I would have liked to have seen, but everything else started to happen with all the Holland stuff, and not that I'm knocking that, but I mean, that was one of those things where there's a gap in my mind, in my comic book mind, of what would have looked like storytelling wise, art wise, if that would have got a chance to be made and his character would have took that serious. The reason I'll get back to this when we go into the non-spoiler part of the podcast, because what I mentioned to you earlier this afternoon when we did our pregame, there's an actor or actress in this new movie that we just saw that showed an evolution to me. And that's what I'm getting at, with Garfield playing these dual roles. See, people forget this. You remember Michael B. Jordan just got a huge accolade, a huge award for playing two roles, twin brothers and Sinners. But when people play Superman and Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne and Batman, Peter Parker and Spider-Man, can you play that role well enough where people will recognize that, damn, that dude is like two different people? You see what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm. Hopefully the viewers, I didn't lose you on that tangent. But I'm thinking about that, and I'm going, man, like, I think even Garfield, there's an interview, I haven't watched it, but he talks about what he would have done if that third movie had made. But anyway, we all knew that Mary Jane was going to be brought into it. How would they have done that? Would they have done the thing where she's a model, she's his neighbor? They
I have a
touched on
pretty
it.
good idea how I would do it.
How would you have done it?
I should I go into it? I don't want to derail us because
Spider-Man. It's
Spider-Man. You know, if I
yeah.
was because the relationship with Gwen was so big for him, I would have him going to grief groups. You know how people get together, and I would have her there doing a character study for a play, and have them meet that way. So their way into that relationship is his grief from the other character. So that's how I would have it. It'd be a lot more natural than do the small worlding where MJ's his neighbor and that's how they and and you could have the connection be like, hey, you look familiar. I think you're in my yearbook, so you could have the small world and you could be like, oh, they went to the same school, they didn't know each other. So you can have this new relationship form out of the ashes of the old relationship. I think that'd be the easiest shorthand to do it.
Yeah, I can see that. I would even go as far with the technology from today. I would put a hologram ghost in the meetings of Gwen, where she's sitting there listening. That might be a little too creepy, but anyway, I think they could have got someone really good to play Mary Jane. If I'm not mistaken, there's a deleted scene. I have the Blu-ray. I'm gonna check it out. They have a deleted scene, I think, on the second movie where Mary Jane, the girl they casted, is in the movie, and they cut it.
I didn't know they cast.
Yeah,
I didn't know they.
Yeah, they casted her. There was a rumor. For all you trivia people out there, there was a rumor. Not sure if it was 100% confirmed, but the someone had considered that the chemistry between him and Emma Stone was so well that they were going to cast her as MJ, but put a red wig on.
Yeah, I heard that. They're just going to give her
what?
They're going to give her a wig.
I was like, no, don't do that. That because she looks too much. Her eyes are unique. No,
I like Emma Stone. I think she's very attractive, but again, she is not classically beautiful woman. She's got kind of a rat thing going on. So I think she's attractive, but you wouldn't go put that girl on the runway.
Yeah, but yeah, I could see that they could have found an unknown. I have to get a look at the girl that they did have casted because I heard such a fact, but yeah, I think that would have been a decent thing. But yeah, I like the girl. The other piece that you and I discussed that I don't think you were a big fan of when we talked about it initially, but I thought it was intriguing. Even if you didn't carry it all through, I liked in that first Amazing Spider-Man with Garfield, wherein they showed a flashback of his parents dropping him off at Aunt May's house. And you go into that mystery of how he's unraveling that mystery of his dad and what he did. Because when I saw that in that movie, I sat there and thought to myself, I've never, ever seen Peter's parents mentioned in any Spider-Man comic book that I ever read. And I got a lot of Spider-Man comic books. So I thought that they added that in there. I thought that was kind of cool. And it was something that you could piece by piece unravel as the trilogy went on. Not to say that it would have amounted to anything, because I think he was tied to Peter actually getting bit and Oscorp and all this stuff that was going on. But I just thought it was neat that they had that in there.
I do not like that storyline from the comics. I don't like it that was in that movie. I understand why they're doing it, but basically it's like I think they borrowed it from the Ultimates timeline with Spider-Man, where Venom was actually a cure for cancer. This is who I would have chosen for Mary Jane.
Who's that?
Her name's Margot Swan.
I've heard of her.
Yeah, she was. She's like an OnlyFans model before OnlyFans, but she stopped posing nude because she wanted her real acting to be taken seriously. So she's probably out there acting under a different name now. I've never seen her since, but that she had the gorgeous flowing auburn hair like Mary Jane has in the comic book. She's so much she's like straight out of comic book version of MJ.
Yeah, I mean I can see it.
In the Spider-Man's parents worked for Oscorp and they're like secret agents version of the story. The only reason the spider bite works on Peter is because Peter's DNA has been messed with by his parents. So it takes away the specialness of who Peter Parker is. We talked about this before. It's just like the Kryptonian Codex being infused to Kal-El's DNA in the Snyder Man of Steel. It's were you born to be the Thing, or did you rise to the occasion of being the Thing because it was your responsibility to do it? So the whole idea that Spider-Man was engineered by his parents to be the perfect vessel for this spider powers by accident kind of takes away from the whole great power, great responsibility thing. Like, he's supposed to be a person that had greatness thrust upon him by the accident that gave him the powers. So if you're going to make him the byproduct of something his parents did to him, I think it really cheapens that. It really takes it away.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I found who it was that was casted.
Who was
as Shailene Woodley. She was in the Divergent movies. Yeah, Shailene Woodley. She director Mark Webb removed her role during post-production to keep the story focused on Peter and Gwen Stacy.
I mean, you got a movie where Gwen is dying. You sure as heck don't need to be adding the love interest.
The next one,
I think that's a good.
The body was still warm, Jody.
I know her. She is also a attractive girl, but not in a classically attractive way. She's also a brunette. Why they cast her to play a redhead? I mean, hair dye is a thing, but
I
think everybody's missing the fact that MJ's a model. It's just
model.
I mean, maybe a hand model.
No, dude, come on.
I mean, I'm not saying she's unattractive, but dude, you need to look.
But they're not going. I mean, I don't know. I just think I mean, some of the artists' renditions of Mary Jane didn't scream model in the Spider-Man comics. Believe me.
Todd McFarlane screamed that girl I just showed you a picture of. He sure did. He drew her with one hell of a bouffant of red hair.
Oh yeah, well, Eric Larson's look like a bunch of leaves on a mannequin head. Like if you sneeze, they would all blow off her head.
Like I said, I like Shailene Wood. I think she's attractive. I don't think she would have been a good Mary Jane. She's got a very pensive face. She looks like she's always thinking something. There's something about her eyes. She's like a chameleon when she cuts her hair, though. God, she's like a totally different person from one hairstyle to the next.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought it was decent.
So, should we share our lists, or should we keep going with our discussion and share our lists at the end?
Well, we were supposed to be. I guess we need to just talk briefly about the 3 Holland movies, all the way up into the new one, briefly, since we did each one of the others. The first one was Homecoming. I thought it was a good introduction to Tom Holland's character. You know, being involved off the heels of what was it, Civil War? It was right after Civil War, right?
Yes.
And him meeting Mr. Stark. I thought it was really well done as a first of a trilogy. Introducing, because
it ranks high on my list, and it ranks high on my list not because of Tom Holland, not because of Tony Stank, not because of the MCU, because Michael Keaton's Vulture. Michael Keaton does such a good job in that movie, and the level of intrigue in that movie when Spider-Man knows that Falcon knows that he's Spider-Man and he's on the date with his daughter. It's just what? Like, what is happening in this movie?
Not Falcon.
I'm sorry,
Vulture.
I said Falcon. I'm sorry.
If Falcon would have found out, that would have been funny. So you just ride around dressed up as a panther, huh? As a cat. Dude, that'll never get old when they were talking, man, be careful with my wings. They're falcon wings. Man, just give me your bird wings. Take off your armor. They was giving poor Falcon a hard time when they had to interrogate him. They thought, oh, that was funny. You just drive around. You just ride around here dressed as a cat, huh? Is that what's in? Oh man. And then Ant-Man goes, yeah, nice little thing we had there. It was lucky. It was lucky. It was one time when him and Ant-Man fought and he turned the giant man. That was funny, dude. That's a little sidebar. That's how you insert comedy into a movie. But that was some nice
So I think that was a cool movie. Again, now the thing that makes that movie stand out, and I think it's the reason why the Spider-Man movies have been so successful for Sony, is because even though they have a connection to the MCU, that gate only swings one way. The Spider-Man movies aren't chocked full of MCU cameo candy the way other MCU movies are. So you end up with a whole complete movie instead of the commercial for other movie thing that you have in most other MCU movies. The only exception to that being the new movie. We'll get to that. But so like the Vulture plot in Homecoming was just so refreshing. It had some intrigue to it. The characterization was good.
I like the addition.
Good.
No. I get back to the youthfulness of Spider-Man as a different direction and not all this older, I'm trying to adult type thing. I think taking him back to school, showing the youthfulness, the younger Aunt May, played by Marissa Tomei, the little, even with Tony Stark, RDJ as a guest appearance, him noticing Aunt May, and that when he's thinking Aunt May, I know RDJ. When he's going to Peter's apartment, he's he lives with Jarvis. Oh, he lives with his Aunt May. He's thinking of the Aunt May from the Maguire. That's what he's thinking. When she opens the door and he goes, "Who are you?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm Peter's Aunt May." And RDJ, he almost breaks the fourth wall and looks at the camera like, "Oh yeah, buddy." And then the whole
Tony
thing
Stank on it.
Where what's his name? Happy Hogan is Happy is like, "Oh no, Tony Stank, you got your girl. It's me time. It's go time." Man. Yeah. But I like that little thing that they had. He was all bumbly and nervous around her. And go to your room, Peter. I want to talk to you, Aunt May. But anyway, grounding that, I felt like even though you had all these other Marvel movies around it, I think for that little bit of special time, they put Homecoming in this little globe and they built it and got it ready for Tom Holland Spider-Man. So I thought it was a great first movie. As all the ones, I like the Maguire first movie. I like the Garfield first movie. and I like the Tom Holland first movie.
Garfield is definitely the weakest of the firsts.
Yeah,
I will say that because of the villain problem, but he's the weakest of the firsts.
Yeah.
I would say
you get the second one. I was talking with somebody earlier today, and that was at the bottom of their list.
That's low.
Was the No Way Home one, and I said, "Why?" She was just like, "Well, the whole Mysterio thing," and she just felt like, "What do you call it? What do you call it? Starts with a G."
I call something. What?
Goyerism.
Oh yeah.
I felt that they Goyerismed. I hope I'm using your analogy
absolutely.
right.
No. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Because the whole correlation where you said Bane as a focal point, top tier Batman villain when he's not, Mysterio the same way. Like, I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great actor, but I just felt that like that was a stretch. Like,
honestly, you're absolutely right. Whether you intentionally nailed it or not, he was totally Goyered because I think the in canon Mysterio was actually like a stunt.
Yeah,
but like. I think that'd be an interesting time for you to bring up that article that you read me earlier about the problem with the Tom Holland movies.
Yeah.
Now, and I will say, while you're getting that handy, I will say my biggest problem with the Tom Holland movies, this has been a consistent problem with the Spider-Man movies. I mentioned it in the in the Tobey Maguire, is that Peter Parker is supposed to be very smart, but the Tom Holland movies have really robbed that intelligence from Peter for the most part. And, a lot of people go, oh, well, what about that time? What about that time? Most of Spider-Man's innovations were hand-me-downs from Stark Tech. So
I found it.
He's got his suit, which is hand-me-down from Stark. He's got the fabricators in Far From Home. He's got the AI glasses in what's that movie called? AI glasses was in No Way Home?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, and you know what? No Way Home. Whew. I mentioned the Easter egg-itis that Marvel does that ruins their movies. No Way Home, Far From Home is a clear example of this. That Skrull C-plot that they had where the Skrulls were pretending to be Nick Fury and what they did with the Skrulls in the MCU was really an abomination. Not only did they do a bad job with it, they cheapened a good character with it. I don't know, did you even watch that show?
Secret Invasion? No, I didn't see
it. So you don't know that Nick Fury, the good Nick Fury?
I did see.
The good Nick Fury was in a intimate relationship with a Skrull.
Yeah, I did see that. It's weird. So I found the article you were talking about.
This is a very interesting article. Make sure you don't say anything that's going to spoil the movie, though. So
Yeah. It said Marvel. It says Marvel accidentally created the biggest problem for Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. 4 solo movies later, and he still doesn't have a single iconic Spider-Man villain that's actually his. Vulture's conflict was because of Tony Stark. Mysterio wanted revenge on Iron Man. No Way Home brought back Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Electro, Lizard, and Sandman, but they all belong to other universes, not the MCU's Peter Parker. I won't mention what was used in Brand New Day, the movie we're about to review, but even if the movie works, it's another film where Peter isn't building rivalries with his own rogues gallery. Now Marvel has backed itself into a corner. Peter has already met versions of Norman Osborn, Otto Octavius, and Kirk Connors, so introducing traditional MCU versions with the same emotional connections won't have the same impact. Spider-Man's greatest strength has always been his villains. 4 movies in, Tom Holland is still borrowing everyone else's.
I mean, again, they made some observations that I hadn't made, but truer words, man, truer words. So, I mean, that's. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, we can't spoil it. Never mind. I mean,
we're going to get to this.
It's technically not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but still, let's just leave the talk about the new movie out. Yeah, so like the level of intelligence problem with all the Spider-Mans, but especially Tom Holland, because of the Stark connection, they've really annexed all real innovation from Peter. And there's a few shining moments where they kind of pantomime that he's intelligent, but then that vanishes. I'll discuss that more in the next in the spoiler filled review, because I have something serious to say about that. But
let's go ahead and since we're finished the 3 sets of movies, let's get into the non-spoiler synopsis.
So are we going to share our total rankings? Or
oh yeah, we could do that. Let's do the total rankings.
Okay. You want to start?
You can go ahead.
All right. My rankings are as follows. Spider-Man No Way Home is number 1. I think that it did such a good job bringing in those older villains, even paving over the worst parts of them. Electro got turned into a better character by virtue of being in this movie. So it just shows that Jamie Foxx wasn't necessarily the problem, that maybe Mark Webb was the problem in the characterization of Electro. Okay, number 2, I have Homecoming. Now, this one was kind of tricky for me, but Michael Keaton's Vulture and the fact that it's a whole movie is really cinched it for me. Number 3, I have... I should have done this in the opposite order, but I'll keep going. Number 3, I have Spider-Man 2. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus, as we discussed, was outstanding. All right, number 4, I'm putting the new movie. This was a divisive one for me because I think it is a very good movie. It has a lot of good stuff in it. I will tell you about my problems with it later, so it wouldn't have ranked higher. Number 5, the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man. I think that, as we discussed, his characterization of the wisecracking Spider-Man, the relationship with Gwen, Dennis Leary as Gwen's father. Again, it was a very earnest taking Spider-Man seriously and not trying to create a Tim Burton-esque Technicolor version of Spider-Man on the screen. 6 would be the original Spider-Man. I got issues with it, but I do think it was, once you get past the cheesiness of it, I think it was a good film. Past this point, you're getting into movies that have problems. Far From Home. I think the A plot was kind of boring or lame with Mysterio. The B plot with the relationship and hiding his identity from MJ was kind of like run-of-the-mill. The C plot with those Skrulls felt very tacked on and weird. Not a good moment for the MCU. Spider-Man 3. This one is second from the bottom of the list just because of just the ridiculousness of it. Like I mentioned earlier, the Saturday Night Fever dance, the way they treated the symbiote, how the symbiote was so dangerous because it made Spider-Man emo. the Topher Grace characterization of Eddie Brock and Venom, just there's so much bad about it. It has good things in it. It has the Sandman stuff, but mostly not good stuff. And then The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the dead bottom of my list because how ridiculous Jamie Foxx was as Electro. How ridiculous their version of the Green Goblin was. There's really no redeeming qualities of this movie on the villain side. It's the relationship between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield really carried that movie, and not really rewatchable. Not a great one. So, yeah, all right, man. I'm ready for you to lay it on me. Tell me why you think I'm wrong.
Let me see. I'm gonna say number. I'm gonna go backwards since you went forward.
Yeah, I should have gone backwards, but I kind of feel like the epic fail of Jamie Foxx was worth mounting up to.
I'll tell you the reason why you're wrong. Number 9, I agree. Well, no, you had it as 8, but I got 9. It's Spider-Man 3 of the Maguire, the end trilogy. Topher Grace's role as Venom was not good at all. I thought the Sandman part was nice. I thought Peter, the end culmination of the story with Harry Osborn as Green Goblin, him redeeming himself and coming back and sacrificing himself to help his friend Peter and realizing that he didn't kill his father, that his father was evil. I thought that was the only good parts of that movie. Number 8, I have as Far From Home. The over the top school trip to I guess another country or France or wherever they was, Paris. I just think that was just over the top. The whole Mysterio thing seemed forced. A villain that's usually just like a C/D level character being this prominent role that you really didn't care about because he used illusions and stuff. It just didn't seem like it was an interesting enough plot character as an antagonist for an entire movie. All the other Avengers and Skrull stuff sprinkled about, didn't really care for that either. I mean, you had some good fight scenes in it. Tom Holland played himself well as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, but nothing much else to say about that. Right in front of that is 7, Homecoming. I thought it was a great first movie for Tom Holland. Again, like we just said in the last cut act, that it felt like it was put in a globe and it was treated as a first movie for a new, fresh take on an iconic hero for modern day for these kids that are growing up right now. I thought it was easy to get into and kind of easy to understand. 6, I got the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man by Andrew Garfield, the first one. I thought it was a different take. It was a darker version. I wouldn't say it's the Man of Steel version of Spider-Man. There's a lot of things that they did differently from the Maguire Spider-Man, and it was his first test. I thought the intrigue and the mystery of mentioning his parents for the first time was good, and it reeled me in. The instant chemistry between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield I thought was fantastic. I wish, again, that we got a sequel for it. Number 5, I had the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I thought, I wish I could have tied this with something. I thought it was a really great first movie, especially ushering out the new league of superhero movies, because it was right after Blade, and it was such a dark movie that to get something refreshing in Spider-Man, I thought it was really well done. Didn't really agree with the Green Goblin side of Willem Dafoe's character as Green Goblin, the actual suit. But I love the way the story ushered out. I just feel like it was rushed too fast in his aging, and having him doing too much adult things. Just feel like the kids couldn't really adapt to it as much as they should in a rewatch type of feel, almost playing like a video game. You know, the playability in a video game. You talk about the rewatchability of a movie, you know, seeing it at the theater once or twice because it was that good. You see it 2-3 times. Taking it home, but this is way before streaming. So you're talking about buying a DVD months later, and how many times you watching this DVD or having people over and talking about this movie at school or at work. So those are the factors that come in. Number 4, I had Amazing Spider-Man 2. Overlooking the Jamie Foxx, the only thing they had going for them was the CGI with the electricity. It did look like he was lightning, and there was a lot of energy involved. I actually liked the soundtrack, the orchestrated soundtrack, the way they played the bass and the guitar riffs with the energy blasts. I thought that was kind of clever.
I'm so glad you said that, Telly, because our takes on this movie were so different. I didn't want to say your opinion was wrong, but I knew there had to be something. There had to be something, because I'm like, what is in this movie that puts it so high on your list?
I remember buying the soundtrack because, again, this was before streaming. I was buying CD. I still buy CD soundtracks when they're available. But again, Andrew Garfield in the Spidey suit, not his Peter Parker, but his Peter Parker was strong enough. I think all the elements that you hit on why this movie was bad, I agree with, but I think what overshadowed it was his relationship on screen and his chemistry with Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. It's almost that they had so much as a good relationship that you didn't mind not knowing Mary Jane yet. You actually forgot about her until I mentioned that she was actually casted and did roles and scenes in the movie that were recorded, but they didn't use. Since you mentioned that, I mean to interrupt your list, but I'm gonna give it another laurel because I crapped on it so hard. The kindness of Andrew Garfield's character to Electro, the way he treats that guy, is honestly something that's unique to all the Spider-Man films. Because, you know, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is a good person, but he always has that angel on his shoulder telling him to do the right thing, whether it was Tony Stark or Aunt May or Happy. You know, even in No Way Home, it was Aunt May that had to convince him to do the right thing to save those people, right? So, like Andrew Garfield's very compassionate in that, and that's distinct. That's none of the other Spider-Mans had that. Well, one thing I want you to compare and see if I don't think anybody has done this that I've heard or I've read, but I'm gonna give you a situation as a movie reviewer, being able to review an IP with this many movies. The only other person probably is Batman, and that's a whole different episode. So what I'm getting at is I want you to compare how the Peter Parker in each one of these almost trilogies, how did Tobey Maguire, how did Andrew Garfield, and how did Tom Holland tell their counterparts that they were Spider-Man, and the empathy and the emotion that was involved when they told them. Do you remember how Tobey Maguire told Kirsten Dunst, MJ? Do you remember how Andrew Garfield told Emma Stone, Gwen Stacy? And do you remember how Tom Holland told Zendaya, MJ? Who did it best? Who?
I don't recall.
I'm not saying you have to
go back and look.
I'm just thinking about that, and then that's how you know, man, like, oh yeah, that was kind of cool the way he put that into words or how he acted that out, because that's important. If you and I go out and script read for these roles, I guarantee you that they make you do those lines for each one of those, how you do that on each one of those. Because they want to see, yeah, you could do, hey, you bought a knife? Oh, I love knives. They would hope that you could do that. But can you do what I'm talking about to your Mary Janes and to your Gwen Stacy's? Can you nail that? Can you nail that? And how would Savage Jody tell his MJ that he's Savage Jody?
Zip. No.
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 Hey, no, I'll tell you how you do it. Whip. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going in. This is a family show. I'm not going any more than. But don't spit your water out. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting at, is that all of that emotions and stuff tying into that. Yeah. So where did I leave off? I was talking about. Oh,
I interrupted you when you were at.
No, you're good. 3 was yesterday's movie. Spider-Man: Brand New Day. I think, as you'll find out in our non-spoiler review, I think very highly of this movie. There's some things, it's not perfect. I'll give you my score when you guys tune in, but I hold it in high regard. I thought it was a great movie for many great reasons. If the things that I didn't agree with are very, very, very nitpicky, and I won't even go into that. Number 2 was Spider-Man: No Way Home. Just because of how they incorporated all the Spider-Mans, bringing back the Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, and the Sandman and Willem Dafoe character. I thought the Willem Dafoe character was menacing in the first Spider-Man. Peter Parker. When you heard him say that in that voice, it made the hairs on your neck stand up, like they showed you in this movie when the Spider-Sense first started. Peter Parker. And the laugh, the look,
yeah.
The face,
the 5 packs of Pall Malls laugh.
if an actor can make you feel like they're that person when you see him, when you see Willem Dafoe on the red carpet and you go, I'm not going over there where that guy is. I'm gonna keep walking over here where these people are, because they're nicer. That guy might jump on my back. Or if he walks past a mirror, he's going to go, who do you think we should kill first? His Aunt May or his Peter Parker? That dude, he's a villain. This is why 15, 20 years later, when he comes back in this movie I'm ranking right now in No Way Home, this is why that guy was so good, because he made you feel the same way he did that many years ago and continue. And he was more minute. He tried to kill Tom Holland, a whole different Peter Parker. Tried to stab him in his eye.
And he did it without a Power Rangers mask, which goes to show you that if they had just trusted the character, they could have done it in the original movie. Yeah.
But this guy, you remember what Tom Holland was trying to do when Tobey Maguire stopped him at the end of the movie? He was trying to take that glider and bang him in the head with it and kill him. He killed Aunt May. He was ready. He was ready to take it there. He took little old Tom Holland, nice guy. How you doing, Mr. Stark? Can I help you? It's okay. I'm about to kill this dude.
Goes to my point again with the kindness of Garfield. That's another time that somebody else had to make the right decision for Tom Holland. Tom Holland, man, he doesn't make his own tech and he doesn't make his own decisions. He just goes with the flow with everybody else.
Don't say Tom Holland. Just say Tom Holland's Peter Parker doesn't.
I mean, I'm
sure he could act it. Yeah.
I just think that it's a when people are heaping overwhelming praise on this movie because they can't see past the moment, and I'm looking at the character and saying, is this really the character? This is why people don't understand my criticism of movies. Because I'm like looking at him, I'm getting back 1,000 yards from the movie. I'm like, yeah, that's a cool scene and all, but would he really do that? And I think that time after time in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, I don't dislike the movies, but time after time, they're Nolan Batmaning. They're making their own Spider-Man, not the Spider-Man. Everybody's like, oh, this is the perfect Spider-Man. Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man. Why? What has been so perfect about his Spider-Man? The movies have been good. But we're giving movies a lot more room to breathe these days. So I kind of feel like you had the opportunity to tell the definitive Spider-Man story, not the Tom Holland steals Stark Tech and has everybody else make his right decisions for him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that. My number one was the Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. I just thought Spider-Man 2 was over the top. It was the Avengers of the Spider-Man movies to me. That movie was, back then when that movie came out, that was the number one superhero movie that I had seen. And that's saying a lot with X-Men. It was on the heels of X-Men, the first X-Men. So Spider-Man 2, again, Alfred Molina turning that villain role around, and then continued it years later in No Way Home. I thought the performances were nailed. I mean, Maguire was even likable when you got used to seeing him as Spider-Man after that first movie. So I think that second one, it had a lot to prove story-wise because of what we went through as a country. They wanted to show that unity and that we were taking a stand in New York. It incorporated a lot of those elements in there. It was over the top. The battle scenes, the fight scenes were epic. The drama was drama. The romance was romance of what it had to be. I thought it was encompassed Spider-Man as a whole. I think some of the other movies fall short of how this movie went from end to end. I'm telling you, looking at this movie 20 some odd years later, it still holds up as an epic movie. Watching it and submersing it. Turn out the lights, turn it on your flat screen, get you a snack and a drink, sit there and watch it like you're watching it for the first time, like it was just made. That movie, you can seriously go and just because it had an impact on me watching it again, it was easy to pretend that it was the first time I saw it because it was so long since I saw it. And the rewatchability, I remember when that movie came out on DVD, I watched it over and over again because I was just like, oh man, that was awesome. You didn't have all this other stuff that needed to be in it from the other Marvel movies. This was it. There was no crossover. This was Spider-Man and it's only Spider-Man. You didn't know that the third one was coming with the horrible one with Topher Grace as Venom. You only knew of this. They even ended it open-ended because they ran off and got married, ran away to get married. You didn't know what was going to be going on, that they were going to have a bunch of stuff going on in the third one where they were going to separate and she was going to find somebody else new and all those things that went on. So, really good. That's my top 9 for the Spider-Man movies. So let's go ahead and open it up for the new movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'll start off since I finished mine, top 9. I thought this movie was great. I thought it was action-packed. I thought there's a couple of standout performances that I really liked. I thought the movie was really well done. I felt like I saw a superhero movie. I had a great time. I think it fits in well for stuff. Getting into it in the next segment, I'll tell you a little bit more on how I thought this antagonist or villain for this movie or cameo, I thought it got stretched out way too long for this movie to make sense. I think it could have been done as much as a one-night stand. You're here for a purpose. Let's figure out what that is. Once we figure out what it is, let's see how we're going to deal with it. Be on and about your way. I need to get back to my movie. I need to get back to making this Spider-Man 2. And I just felt like nitpicking, it's not a perfect movie. Nitpicking, overall, I give it an 8.5. That's my score for this movie. And I'm going to stand firm for it. And there's a reason why it doesn't get that extra to make it a 10. And I'll get back into it. But I thought it was really well done. My MVP for this movie is Zendaya as Mary Jane. And I will get into that in the spoiler side of things. But take it away, Savage Jody.
Well, I there's a lot I did not like about this movie. I liked the movie overall. Looking at it as what it was fun. It was stuffed full of a lot of things that didn't actually need to be there. And there's a lot of, I mean, it's like every one of our podcasts rhymes. Like we're seeing, honestly, I think that we're seeing the formula that is going to cause the biggest problem for the MCU going forward if they don't start focusing on telling good stories. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that this isn't a good story. I'm just saying that their formula seems to be leading, and this one just happens to. I think Sony is really being a mitigating factor because consistently the Spider-Man films are good, and the Spider-Man films are good because I kind of feel like they're saying, that's cool, we want to be connected to you guys, but we don't need all that in the sauce. So, but this is, there's a lot of cameos of a lot of different characters, and they do no purpose other than showing, oh, this is Spider-Man's world is filled up with these people. So you have characters from the Avengers, you have a couple of Spider-Man villains that were announced that you expect to have more substance in the film that do not have substance. Mm-hmm. So if they're there just for an Easter egg, then why are they there?
That's true.
And I can't spoil. So okay, so I think Telly's absolutely right. The real standout of this movie is Zendaya, and I like him. I cannot expound on that until we get into the spoiler part of the review. But I think that either she's come a long way since the first movie, or they really took the restraints off her for this movie. Because it like impressive level acting in the movie. I think this movie is longer than it needed to be. It meanders a lot. But my biggest criticism for this movie isn't about the movie. It's about the implications of the movie. And it's like I'm watching a car wreck happen in slow motion with the MCU. Mm-hmm. And because this is a spoiler-free review, I can't go into that. But if you don't think too much about it and you walk into this movie, you go, "Oh, well, that was a good movie. It was a little long." But when you think about it, you're like, well, all that time they had introduced those other characters, and they weren't really important for the thing. So why is that important? Mm-hmm. So when you put that in that context, and that means that if we didn't spend all that time on exposition introducing characters that weren't going to be essential to the plot, we could have made this movie shorter and more concise. But we want to play MCU cameo bingo and shove as many characters in this as you want. So again, I can go into one-to-one comparisons on things that could have been taken out of the movie in the spoiler part of the review, but I initially gave this movie a 7.5. And then I was talking to my son about it, and I was like, I can't give it that rating because I think that's the exact same rating I gave Supergirl. So I actually lowered.
Oh, hold on.
No, I'm just kidding.
The screen doesn't go blank. The screen doesn't go blank. Don't say that word.
So I actually lowered it. I'm just kidding. I actually raised it up. So I gave it an 8 with a big asterisk, though. A big asterisk. This movie has too much stuff in it. It's longer than it needs to be. Its plot kind of meanders. It has a lot of characters in it that have a part, but don't really serve a concise point in the story. So when I was talking to my son about it, I realized I loved this movie as a series.
Oh,
and a lot of people say that this is the closest thing to a comic that a superhero movie has ever been. And I can see that because it feels like I just read a bunch of issues in a story arc that had disparate elements that added up to a final resolution. So in that sense, I feel like I watched a short Disney Plus show and I'm giving it the 8 rating. But as a movie, I think they could have cut a lot of fluff out. And I think that the 91% that Rotten Tomatoes is giving it, those people are not giving it objective reviews. It's just recency bias or they're shills or whatever. But this movie does not deserve over an 8. not by a long shot. It does not deserve over an 8 because it's fine, but there's a lot of fight scenes in it, but I feel like none of them are crazy memorable. Like you walk out of the movie and you're like, oh, there's that one. Yeah. You know, when I was talking, I was like, I feel like there's a lot of fighting, but I don't remember any of the fight scenes. And my son's like, well, my favorite one was that one. I was like, yeah, that was so forgettable. I forgot that was even in the movie. So, again, it feels like a series. It feels like I just watched 10 episodes of a Netflix series or a Disney Plus series, not a movie. And when you're watching a movie, I think that's a problem.
I agree with you on that.
What's that?
I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's a part that I forgot about that I'll bring up in the spoiler.
It's still a good score. But honestly, this is the problem. This is what people are going to, people are talking about superhero fatigue. It's not superhero fatigue. It's being overindulgent because you don't understand when too much is too much. And we watched the Andrew Garfield goes through this. We watched the Tom Holland franchise goes through this. We watched I had another one in my head. This is the Schumacher Batman. They think because it's a sequel, there has to be more. Because it's a sequel, we have to have more than the last one. Just do a good job. Tell me a good story. And I don't even know that this was a good story. I'm not trying to bag on it. It's like a collection. It's like a collection of fun moments, but not a good story. So like it leads to a good place emotionally. I think it has a lot of fun along the way, but as a story arc, if I told it to you on an elevator, you'd be like, "That was the movie? Like, really? That was the movie? That's the A plot of the movie?" So, but that's my piece. I gave it an 8, solid 8. I think that's good, but big old asterisk.
Oh yeah, I'm down with you.
Oh, but so before we close out, our discussion earlier, the Japanese Spider-Man, known in Japan as Spiderman.
Super Spider-Man.
You should see the way that's spelled too.
I think I've seen it.
live action television series produced by Toei Company that aired 41 episodes, 1978 to 1979. While he wears the iconic red and blue suit, the version of the hero features a completely unique origin, specialized gadgets, and a giant transforming mecha robot.
No, I think I've seen people spoof it on Instagram now.
His villains were Professor Monster and the Iron Cross Army.
Led by Flint. Oh man!
Don't need Duke. Like there's only one thing to order in Japan: Japanese food.
Yeah, drive it like you stole it. So our viewers out there, subscribers, throw us your likes. Please share, and please respond. We would love to hear about your rankings for the previous 9 Spider-Man movies. Well, including this one, 9 Spider-Man.
I actually posted the list that we use to mark our favorites on our socials. If you guys want to go there, fill it out, send it to us on one of our social medias or one of our emails. We'll definitely include it maybe in the credits of the next episode, since it didn't make it in time for this episode. But I guess I could edit it into the episode after the fact. Yeah, go ahead and send them back in. I'll edit and re-upload the episode with those in if you guys feel the need to fill them.
Or we could do a separate post talking about some of the results that we received. So that would be cool too.
Yeah, I mean, we can do like a full elimination to see how quickly we can get Jamie Foxx and Spider-Man the hell out.
Number one.
No. We need to give ourselves, if you like what we're doing here and you want to help us out and get access to some new content every week, we do about 30 minutes of pre-show where we talk about things that aren't comics, things we don't talk about on the show. Sometimes we talk about the same things we talk on the show. We're trying not to do that. You can always check us out on Patreon, where we post each episode an update so you always know what is going on with the show. If you like the show and you want to help us keep the lights on while you are there, you can become patron. For as low as $2 a month, you can become a league member, and that will give you access to exclusive pre-show and post-show content each week, as well as the retro movie reviews. Or for just a little bit more, at $5 a month, you can become a Power League member, getting pre-show, post-show, retro reviews, a discount code for our merch store, and a producer credit in each and every episode. That's patreon.com/secret identities. Put it in your search bar, look for it in the show notes, or find it with the rest of our links with our Linktree QR code. But we wanted to give a special thanks to our Power League member, Hazy Eyed Girl, for her 10th week in a row supporting us. Thank you, Hazy. We sent her out a swag package last week. She got it. She said she loved everything. I'm not sure if she meant it, but she said she loved it. And I think we're ready to go into the spoiler review. So if you want to hear that, you can find us in the same feed. Until then, it's been fun. It's another week down. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Thanks again for joining us. If you like what you saw, give us a like. If you didn't, let us know how we can do better. If you know someone else who might like us, please share. Help us boost the signal. For audio only, they can find us on Spotify by searching for Secret Identities Podcast. Or for full video, tell them they can find us on YouTube at Secret Identities-Pod.
And of course, every episode is free to listen on Patreon at www.patreon.com/secretidentities. We also share clips of the show occasionally on Instagram at secret_identities_media or on TikTok at secret_identities_pod. Be sure to check out those socials. Drop us a like, give us a follow, turn on notifications. That way you will always be updated so you never miss an episode. You can look out for our streaming schedule or just see some of the news and funnies that we share throughout the week. And don't forget to please follow us or subscribe wherever you are listening from.